1, 2, Westport!
T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
1, 2, Westport!
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Saturday edition of the Best Grow Show, as voted on by 9 out of 10 flute soloists. And I went talk to soloists this week because, well, I'm rolling solo this week. Maybe not for long, because I'll post the link in the chat if anybody wants to hop on and show their garden, have a little conversation. Today is definitely the day for that. But yeah, rolling solo, doing it solo. And if you liked how I mismatched the intro, that was pretty skills, huh? All right, Ben, get out of here. Thank you guys for showing up. So we're just going to be kicking it. We're going to have a mellow session today. I want to show you a few of the new things that I've been using in the garden. I got a different soil here. I've got some different nutrients here. Just kind of talk about those. I always like to use stuff before I give the public opinion. You know, there's a lot of those unboxing videos, which are good because you learn about the product, how to set it up and stuff, but always be wary of somebody who gets a product and then all of a sudden it's the best thing in the world. So I try to use, I do use things before I kind of actually go out and publicly comment on them. There's been a few things where I've just reached back to the company and said, it's probably not in your interest if I did the video I promised you for this. And they subtly get that, or they get that subtle hint there. So there's been a few things, nothing that I see, widely used or widely hyped out there. So it's not like people are getting shenaniganed all over the place, which is an awesome word too. I mean, shenanigans. I'm going to probably make that one of the words for the bean giveaways today, because that's just a challenge in itself. I'll probably have to look up how to spell it, or I'll just make up my own spelling for it. We could do either way. But what are y'all smoking on today? That's the question of the hour. I'm looking around here. What did I load this morning? I'm not sure. I've only had a couple of puffs going. See, we've already got a couple different spellings of shenanigans in here. It's all shenanigans. I think there is an E in here. This would be like shenanigans, the nanu version. Biohazard guy. Yep, shenanigans. That's a fun word to say. I always say fun words to say. Salsa, arugula. Say them loud. Say them proud. They're fun words. All right, but as sub 10 mentions here, weed. We're here to talk a little bit about cannabis. So let's find out what I'm smoking on today. And oh, I guess that was sub 10's answer too. What are we smoking on today? Is weed. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's see here. I am smoking on the Pre-91 Chem Dog. Good morning load. Good bowl for the morning. I like that 91 Chem kind of in the morning, in the days. Gets me a little bit hyper, gets me going. It's got that nice like fuely taste. Not the best for your breath in the morning, but that's all right, guys. Pop a mint, drink something good. So yeah, Pre-91 Chem. It's the pre in there. Usually it's the 91 Chem. I've honestly never heard of the Pre-91 until this one company. So who knows? It tastes like Chem 91 to me. So I'm rolling with it. Actually, if you guys have watched the show, it's one of the few normal or regular rec buys. There's one particular cut from one particular grower that I've been following from a couple companies in this Washington rec scene. That's the only cut I want to smoke. So I made some seeds chad with that RKS from Tony. All right, Cheddar Bob. Good deal. Yeah. So Tony, Mr. Toad, who is one of our, best seed sponsors here for giveaways, and we're going to give away the last pack from him. I think we've given away at least 20 packs from him. We're going to be giving that away later. I'm also going to let you guys know about a GoFundMe for Mr. Toad at the moment too. He needs a little help with his roof, getting that thing fixed before the winter sets in. Already has a leak, already into the house. So getting close on the goal. I'll share that GoFundMe later. But that's awesome, Cheddar Bob. So the RKS was crossed with his space cheese. I had grown that out. There is actually a grow diary on my channel. It was, I think it was the original water only soil challenge that I did, where I used Sohum living soil. I used the Appalachian Supply super soil, and I used the KIS Organics biochar soil. And I had a fourth one in there, and the plant was doing awesome. And that was like the control. I wanted to see how everything compared against this fourth, because the fourth is standard. But unfortunately, I wound up getting a male in that fourth container. So, and I actually did 2 of each, except for that one control, and it turned out to be male. But that control was Fox Farm Ocean Forest. So if water-only soils that are touted as water-only soils can't at least meet or exceed the level of what Ocean Forest does straight out of the bag, then you might be you're selling wolf tickets over there. But no, everything was doing great. And all 3 of those soils, actually, I would recommend. I stuck with the Sohum living soil. It worked great as far as energy and nutrient load goes, because one thing that you have to take into account with any water only soil is the size of the container you're using and how long it's in that container. Obviously, the smaller the container, the less nutrient load it has. So it's not going to get the same, duration out of it as if it were in a larger container. And what I found with Sohum living soil is they were accurate. It said you've got 60 days in your 5-gallon or your 7-gallon container. And then nutrients, you might have to start supplementing. Just do a little amending, some top dressing. And I didn't want to do anything. Again, the water only soil challenge was straight up water only. If you write water only on the bag, it should be able to do that. And again, I'm always on a mission to look for good but easy ways to get people growing, because I want to see people growing. Not everybody has the time. Not everybody has the mobility. So water only is one thing that I looked at. But yeah, they were accurate. I didn't have to do any top dressing. And that is why I stuck with those, because it also works great in the AutoPots, which is another watering system that I use as well. The KIS Organics, freaking awesome. I love that stuff so much. That's what I'm using in the veggie garden outdoors now. Like it's tremendous soil. A little hard for me to get, even though it is in my home state of Washington. It's just not in the grow stores near me. And that also was the same with the Appalachian Supply Super Soil. If you are in Virginia, look that crap up because it is tremendous soil. Like that had a great nutrient load. It needed to stay wetter than most. There was no perlite, there was no pumice, there wasn't what we traditionally see in the soil as far as, you know, agents to keep it aerated, less compaction. I didn't, it might have had some vermiculite in there, but there were no chunks. It would have been like really finely ground. And again, that kind of helps keep air in the soil structure. But yeah, it looks different. It needed to stay a little bit wetter than most, which is fine because it's hard to overwater that stuff. But yeah, it took off. So those are doing. And let's see here. I see a question from Haas Farms. Chad, don't you get a lot of gnats in your bag soil, ocean forest, etc.? You know, Haas, that is a great question. Typically, bag soil, no, I do not get a lot of gnats. Now, Fox Farm Ocean Forest, it's like one of those funny jokes. You know, it's like, oh, you enjoy your fungus gnats with that bag of soil? And you hear it so much, you just got to be like, are people just, you know, taking the piss out of Fox Farm because they're Fox Farm, or is there like smoke behind the fire? Well, I've experienced it. I'm spitting already. I've experienced it multiple times. Yeah, for some reason, I've not had any kind of fungus gnats or anything flying around. I'll get a few bags of Fox Farm and start using that, and geez, all of a sudden, there's a few things flying around. And that is actually my current situation right now. Because the Sohum, can't get it right now. The other ones I can't get. My local grow shop closed. I now have to go about an hour one way to the grow store, and the only thing for soil that they carry is Fox Farm Ocean Forest. So I bought like 8 bags of it. Got it sitting here. I've used probably 3, maybe 4 of them. And yeah, I've got fucking flying things where I've never had them for the last few years. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. That said, it's got good nutrient load. It's a decent soil. Like it's actually probably the most common and popular for a reason. But unfortunately, when things get very large, you have a hard time with the quality control and storage. And that might be possibly where this, you know, contamination is coming in. You know, they could do things to prevent it. But one thing you also need to understand too are these soil companies. It's not like Fox Farm has this big, you know, factory where they're bringing in all the ingredients themselves and they're, you know, measuring it and mixing it themselves and then bagging it. No, the majority of large soil manufacturers, they use one of like 6 or 7 soil mixers in the US. And there's one near me in Everett, Washington, and you know, pretty much a lot of your bagged soil on the West Coast gets mixed there. And that's how the industry kind of works. So there are some, like, you know, I would say probably Build a Soil. And I don't know this for a fact. I just had Jeremy on. I could have asked him. But they probably do a lot of the mixing there. I know the Appalachian Supply Super Soil that I mentioned in the water only, he does all his custom mixing. But again, it's craft level. If we were to relate, you know, soil mixing to cannabis growing, there's definitely commercial, there's definitely the home, and then there's craft. Craft is, you know, bigger than home, but way smaller than commercial. And craft is usually about the level where you can manage it yourself or with, you know, a small team, and then you have to step it up. Then you start letting go of some of your, you know, strict quality control just because you can't be eyes on the entire time. So that happens with soil as well. And one of the, you know, soils that I've actually been trying too, and that's another thing I wanted to do today. Actually, let me drop the freaking invite link in chat first, because anybody who wants to show their garden, you are more than welcome to come up and join me today. This is kind of the AMA, and I'm going to try to see all the comments as it goes by, as they go by. Sometimes I get distracted, like it's chewing gum and walking. It's like reading comments and then keeping the same train of thought. But I will do my best. So let me drop that into chat. And if anybody wants it during the show, just holler at me and I'll drop it in chat again. I'll try to drop it every 10 minutes or so for people want to join me. I somewhat forgot where I was going, other than I did get a new, like kind of a craft type of soil that I'm trying now. So here's, and let me know if you guys have heard of this one. I'm currently growing in it. So Bio 365, made by hand, backed by science, pretty good. They've got a few different blends. This is their Bio Flower blend. It says ideal for the flowering stage of growth. However, I'm using it in veg, and then I up pot, and then I go into flower with it. And I actually got to talk with the owner of Bio 365, and he sent me a lot of really cool information to help me. But, you know, the important thing here is bioavailable nutrients. Again, that's one of the things with like organic soils. It may have a ton of organic matter in there, but you need microbes because it's not bioavailable. So it's available to the microbes to eat. Then the microbes eat it, they kind of digest it, enzymatic action changes physical properties, they poop it out, and guess what? Plant roots can now accept it. So that's why you want healthy microbe populations in your living soil, but also bioavailable. Synthetic nutrients, bioavailable instantly to the roots. That's why you see the reactions right away or within, you know, a day or two. But organic stuff, if you top dress with organic stuff, you're not going to see those results for a while, which is why you need to think ahead and keeping good notes as you grow, especially when you're doing a feed like this or, you know, an organic feeding. You'll be able to look back at your notes and be like, okay, it was like week 5 of flower, week 7, I started to notice, you know, a fade where I didn't want to see the fade yet. Okay, well, that means you needed to top dress probably 3 weeks ago. You can look at your notes. If you didn't remember, you could be like, okay, I'm going to try it this time because it's the same strain, same size of pot. That's just kind of how you learn, and that's how note taking can benefit you. But a couple of the other things on here, what was it? So biology, so that's, you know, the microbes and stuff in there, plus biochar. Biochar is pretty good. You don't want to go too hardcore on it because it can lock up some of the nitrogen. But biochar is good in itself. It kind of gives some of the microbes a little home to live. It's very porous, and in the soil structure, again, microbes are super small, and these little pores we're talking about are super small, but they're imperative. That's a big word. I like it. Imperative to your soil structure. So this is what I've been using. They also sent me a couple other of their lines. One is it's like a cocoa without any perlite or pumice or anything in there, which sounds a little bit tricky because there's going to be some compaction. There's probably going to be less air in the root zone. But the guy, Sebastian at Bio 365, that's actually one of his favorite blends. He loves it. He's like, once you understand how to water this soil, your money. And then, gosh, I need to pull up their website because there was a third blend that I got that I've been saving for another water only challenge. Because I wanted to do the water only again with a few different brands. I've got the Bio 365. I'll look it up here. And I want to use a 5-gallon pot of that. I want to use 5 gallons of cocoa with Grow Dots. Grow Dots is from, you know, Scotty Real, Do Grows. I was watching their Saturday show just before we came on here. I was watching the replay of the Saturday show. So big ups to those guys. But yeah, so he does the Grow Dots. I want to put that next to the Bio 365 water only soil. And then I wanted to do the Sohum living soil because that's my control. That's something that I'm very familiar with. But I can't get it right now. They're having a distribution problem with one of the suppliers, as I was saying, the mixers. So that is an issue that should be resolved around the new year. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that, but I wanted to run autos in them anyways, because again, if you can get good autos, which I'm going to be testing different auto genetics, I'm going to be testing genetics from Chef Alex and potentially James Loud. So those are the autos that I'll be using. And Mr. Awesome Badass, that is cool. So you're on your second run of using grow dots. Good. How do you like it? Was there anything that maybe needed to supplement, or maybe it was hot, or, any tips on how to mix it into the soil? Always appreciated for everybody in chat. Because again, that's a pretty popular option. I've heard good things about it, and it's a basic kind of principle of fertilizer. It's like grow dots. Ooh, micro dot. No, micro dots are way funner. And if anybody knows what micro dots are, party on. But grow dots, it's a slow release, time release fertilizer, and so they're like the name says, they're the little dots, they're little pebbles. And they're loaded with nutrients, and you just mix them into the soil. And so they're sporadically, and that's why you want to do a good job of mixing them. So it's not like clumped here, clumped there, clumped there. You really want to mix it up. So as your root zone grows out and expands in the soil, or in this case, cocoa, it's going to be able to find these nutrients. And a lot of times it's like, well, they're all little dots. How can that, how can it be time released? How is it like slow release? Why does it not just all at that point? There's soluble coatings around the nutrients. And so it's water. Over time, water will kind of dissolve it. It's like an M&M. Your brain has a thin candy shell. No, your brain has a thin candy shell. And that's how it works. And the way that they kind of turn it into like a slow release or a time release is they just alter the thickness of that coating around the nutrients. So obviously the ones with a thinner shell, the water is going to dissolve that quicker, and that's the nutrients that are going to be released. Now, if you go with a thicker shell, it may take twice the amount of water to release the nutrients in there. And so those are the ones that will, towards the end of your grow, or, later on in the grow, those will be the ones releasing the nutrients. And so it's really kind of a mathematical formula of, okay, we're putting, 322 of the 0.7 millimeter coatings in with 967 of the 1.0 millimeter. I mean, you guys kind of get it. It's just math. It's like, okay, these are going to release in 1 week. Cool, put that much in. These will release in 3 weeks. Cool, put that much in. And that's how you get your grow dot or your time released fertilizer formulas. So that's how those work. That's what I want to do. What are some of the other companies that maybe you guys have used? I see, some good comments in here, and these are kind of more like supplemental nutrients. BioAg, yep, I've got BioAg TM7 here, and that's just a bunch of trace minerals. I think it's got humic and fulvic acid in it as well. That one is a great additive. It's a powder, so you're not paying for liquid and shipping, which is great, because powder stuff, you can get a ton of it for much cheaper. I typically recommend people go that way. There is an exception, and we'll actually get to that because I have some other nutrients that I'm trying for the first time here that I want to show you that we'll talk about. But the trick with like the BioAg TM7, and even I see Shadow Mech in here, shout out, using Recharge. Both of these, if you take that powder, measure it out in your little tablespoon or teaspoon, I forget which it is, it's back there, both of which I have and use on occasion. You dump it into the cold water and it just sits on the surface. It's like oil and water. You go to like stir it up and it's just like the powder is actually coating your stirrer. It never blends with the water. It's because the water's too cold. What you need to do, and you can try this with a lot of other powdered nutrients. If you notice that, again, when it goes in the water, if it's just like statically not blending at all, you can do this trick. Or if you add it in and you kind of see it dissolving and you let it, you give it a little bit of time to dissolve. That's another thing with dry nutrients I always encourage people to do. Like, don't add it, stir it, cool, add it onto the plants right away. You want to give it a little bit of time to dissolve and spread out in the water, I guess, is the way of saying it. Oh, see, there we go. I'm reading chat. Damn me. Okay. Miss K's Garden says she uses it at room temperature. Thank you for pulling me back onto track here, because that was the trick with the with recharge, with that BioAg TM7, is mix it with warm water. And how I do that is I fill my watering can, short this much of what I normally do with the temperature water that I want, typically 68 degrees. 65 to 71, 72. That's a good target range because it has more oxygen in the water at that temperature range. Don't read this, Chad. Yeah, way to go, Brad. That one worked. But so I fill the can like this short with my regular temperature water, and then I take one of my measuring cups, usually the 1,000 milliliter measuring cup, and I fill it with warm water. Not like warm to give to your baby, like make this shit warm, just short of hot. And then I mix, and then I dump it in and I stir it, and it pretty much instantly dissolves. So it's just like warm water is the trick for those two products. And then I take that and then I add it into my normal temperature. I stir it up and it's all good. So that's kind of how I get to those. Mycos and Azos when transplanting, those are good. I use the Mycos product. Azos I haven't used. And here's kind of an interesting factoid about like mycorrhizal and root relationships. It typically takes around 90 days to build a like truly meaningful, beneficial, fully expanded, ready to roll relationship between the roots and the mycorrhizae. Now, when we are growing in small pots, like short term, 90 days, like that's a seed to harvest for me. So I typically don't add the mycos when I'm transplanting from my, my 1 gallon or 2 gallon into the larger plant. But when I take clones out of I have an aero cloner, so exposed roots. And those exposed roots, before I put them into the soil for the first time, absolutely. I dump some all over the roots. And I would say I probably do get better root growth. Your watering practices is really the #1 determining factor in your root growth and those fine root hairs and the potential, I would think. But I do use the mycorrhizae, and I use it early. I don't use it late because, again, it may have some benefit, probably does, but not to the extent that I'm wanting it to, which, again, just because it takes a little bit of time to set up and establish in the soil system, I'm usually dumping my soil out by the time it's fully engaged. So, yep, I do that early. And the exception to that rule, though, is definitely if you are using the living soil. If you're using one of those beds, like I know Cheddar Bob was in here earlier, he does a fantastic job growing in 4x4 raised bed containers. Now, before he moved, I think he took his soil with him. This is how you know a living soil grower. But he was using that soil for at least a couple of years, feeding it and amending it and doing all of that good stuff to keep it healthy. And then, when he moved, man, he like put that shit in trash cans and hauled it and moved it and dumped it into the new spot. But that's a case where, add mycos anytime you want because it's there. It's going to be sitting in there. Let's see. Galaxy, what brand do I use? Let's see. What brand do I use? Let's see here. All right. So this is like you're coming over to my house and looking in the medicine cabinet today, which is actually very boring. So this is, and guys, there's a lot of them out there. don't think just because this is what I use that it has to be used. I use it because I have experience and I think it's good, but there's other things out there that I haven't tried myself that are probably pretty darn good too. So just keep that in mind. But this is the stuff that I use, the mycorrhizal inoculant. So yeah, Extreme Gardening, same company that makes the Azos, which is how we kind of got onto this subject. And I forget what they recommend the Azos for as far as application timing and extent. So yeah, Dynomyco, J. Patrick, that's a great one that I have friends that use it and love it. So that's another good one. Let's see here. I saw some other ones up there. Yep, Mycos and Great White. Great White. See, Great White is one that I haven't used myself. I see it advertised a lot. I see, some influencer types using it. It's pretty damn expensive. Again, for something that might not really fully be able to get utilized by the time you're done growing your plant. But I have seen good results with it too. So it is what it is. That's expensive, so that's why I've not tried that brand, but that's out there. That's what I used there. I got my grow dots, as we were talking about earlier here, the Real Growers. And this, I was talking about the Sohum Living Soil and how if you actually follow the directions on the bag for container size and duration it should stay in there, you're going to be doing pretty good. And Grow Dots kind of has something similar here on the back too. Let's see, Grow Dots per gallon of soil, entire packet, teaspoon. So this is for this packet feeds 3 to 5 gallon container, up to 6 weeks of veg and 10 weeks of bloom. So that's a pretty long time. That's longer than I would probably need, but that's fine. It won't run out of juice. And I'm going to be doing it in a 5 gallon container. So maybe by it being dispersed, that'll help. And again, recharge. This stuff is, God, man, I almost want to say use a mask. It's so just powdery. It's hard to keep in. And then this is the BioAg. This is that TM7 that I was talking about. Let's see if it'll focus. Focus. And a lot of these are just micronutrients. And micronutrients are not things that your plants need a ton of. They do not need an abundance of this. So a lot of times you can apply it once, maybe twice, and you're good. So this just has a little bit of sulfur, boron, cobalt, copper, iron, manganese, molybdenum, cannabis words, agricultural words, chemical words. There's a lot of fun words out there that I have no idea how to pronounce. And now I do, because I'm constantly around people that use these words all the time. But when I was learning and just reading stuff for myself, and I encourage you to do this too, sometimes don't necessarily get stuck on pronunciations. And molybdenum was one of them. I always called it, in my head when I'm reading it, it's molybdenum. Because that's, M-O-L-Y, Molly, the letter B, and then D-E-N-U-M, denim. So molybdenum. That's how I pronounce molybdenum. So it's got that in here, and it's got some zinc too. So that's the look in the cabinet there. Let's see here. Labs and Bokashi is all the microbes you need. Nicholas, that's pretty good. I've not used the Bokashi stuff myself, although I actually did just place an order. Here I am in chat. And I grew some. You would be the perfect person to illustrate this as well. And yeah, Garbage Pail Kids rock. Anybody remember their Garbage Pail Kid? My first one, Charred Chad, was Godzilla in Series 3, which is probably, like 30, 40 years old now. So Charred Chad, and then I saw one that was Cheap Chad, and I'm kind of like, that does apply too. I'm frugal, which is probably why I haven't bought the Great White yet. So yeah, totally distracted because that I see it now too. Oh yeah, Bokashi. I actually just ordered a few things from Brandon Rust, the Bokashi Earthworks company. So those should be arriving next week. I'm going to be trying those next round on 2 Westport grape juice, 2 Kool-Aid Man, and 2 of the cheese OGs that I have going. The first 2 plants, I've been running those for over a year and then over a couple years. So I know how they grow. I know how they express. Again, that's something when you're testing new stuff, do it with a plant that you're intimately familiar with, so you know if it's going good or if you know if it's going bad. If you're not really familiar with how a plant grows, or you've made a whole bunch of changes, a new light, new fan, new nutrients, new soil, it's going to be hard to isolate what of that new is actually making a difference. So that's why I like to run things on plants that I'm very, very familiar with, because I'll be able to see what it's doing. Oh gosh, cheese OG, yes. This KIS Garden. So the story behind the cheese OG here, and I actually call it CHOG because I always abbreviate anything, which is a little confusing with chud, which is coming out soon. I got the chud right here, so that may turn into a trivia question later for bean giveaways. But anyway, so CHOG, it's a cheese OG. It's a one-off bag seed that I got while we were in the Netherlands. We were in a little town called Haarlem. Beautiful town. It's like a suburb to Amsterdam. It's where the flower parade, their like world famous international flower parade, ends. And so we were there last year for that. And as we're staying in Haarlem, there's a few coffee shops. It's a cool little town. But there were a few coffee shops. Coffee Shop Birdie, I believe it was right by the Airbnb we were. And we ordered, and I wasn't really necessarily in the best of moods when we rolled in there. I forget why, but I remember ordering something, and she like took it out and like put it on the counter. And I was like, okay. And then she's like, grabbed it back. She's like, no, that wasn't it. And then she started like looking through the big drawer of like the differently labeled sacks of weed that they had in the shop in Haarlem. And I was like, dude, forget it. You know what? Never mind. Because I mean, I already had plenty of flour. And when I go there, I'm trying to smoke specific things, like things that I don't really get here and things that are probably more genuine there than they are here. Just like Runts is more genuine here than it is there. So those are the types of things that I like. And she wasn't too organized. That's fine. I don't blame her. But I was just like, no, I'm not having it. But my wife ordered something, and she ordered the cheese, which is one of the things that we do go over there specifically to smoke a lot of when we find it, smoke their cheese. King's Day is in April, and we were there for King's Day this year. It's fucking nuts, bro. Not sure. But anyway, so my wife got this cheese, and we sat down at the table, and we were just going to smoke it before we headed back to the Airbnb or head back out, whatever we were going to do that evening. She loads it up, and I'm just like smelling it, and she kind of passes me the pipe, and I hit it, and I'm like, what did you order? She says, this is the cheese. I'm like, cheese? This is the best damn OG I've ever smoked. So out of that one bag, there was one little bean. And, it didn't have to go in the prison locker, but it made it back. And it's currently growing right now. I've already grown it and harvested it. And so I'm smoking it here. But yeah, that's how it got the CHOG name. It's just like the cheese OG. As far as my labeling goes, God, man, it is. It's like one of the best OGs I've had. So we'll see. First time I grew it out, though, it had obvious intersex traits on the lower branches. Cut some of them off. They were kind of coming back up on the lowers. I cut it up to a certain height, which is something that I never do. Usually, actually, every time I would trash a plant at that point. But it was such a special smoke. And my wife was like, well, can you just like cut it off? And then we'll have some of it to smoke. And I was like, yeah, okay. It's worth it, this one. If I just keep my eyes on it, make sure I knock down any of the sacks as I see them, and they weren't like the little hidden ones right at the node that you typically miss because the bud's forming over and around it. These were straight up like, boop, you got balls. But yeah, I got rid of them, and I didn't have really any pollination that I'm aware of yet in that batch. So it can be done, even though I 99% of the time don't recommend it. But hey, this is that 1% time, so I did it. And interestingly enough, I've not seen it on this second round. Yeah, second round right now. I've not seen the intersex traits, and I left everything on, like all the lowers. I didn't trim anything that absolutely would have hermed on that first run. I'm not seeing it. We're only almost a little over 3 weeks into the new run with it. And I'm probably going to go in and cut off those lowers in the next few days just because I don't need them, don't want them. They're drawing power away from the top buds. They're not getting enough light. They're too far away. But I wanted to see if I was going to get more of that intersex traits. And so far I haven't. I might find a few as I go in and cut it out because really it's bushy. It stretches like an OG, but it's probably at least 4 feet tall right now. So, I mean, that's a lot of leg trimming to do. So I may find one or two, but it is interesting how sometimes things can need a run or two to acclimate to your environment. It's probably very different than the environment it was grown in over in the Netherlands, indoor grow wise. But as somebody who enjoys making seeds, that has eliminated it as something that I would work with in a production capacity. Now, if it, for the next year, continue, because I was just going to get rid of it after this run is going and I have more clones of it going, and then I was just going to stop it because I didn't want to mess around with it, but the smoke really is that good. So after that first run, so it may stay around, and if it does stay around for a year or so and doesn't exhibit that stuff anymore, I'll probably make something for myself. I might cross it with the Westport grape juice. Who knows? Maybe a male that I'm working with at the time, because I am going through a lot of seed. How have you? Dr. Levy is not here today because we're 42 minutes into the show and I have not given away 1 pack of seeds yet. So we're going to change that real quickly. We need to start giving away some seeds because I was saying if nobody hops on, I'll probably just make this kind of a quick show, maybe an hour or so. And again, kind of AMA, if you guys have any questions, ask me anything. Let me scroll down and try to catch up to the new comments. Good to see you, Jeff. 173. But yeah, if anybody wanted to hop on and show the garden, definitely the link is in chat and you can always ask me as well. Totally forgot where I was going with that because I'm like, how the hell am I not giving people seeds yet? I'm sorry, everybody watching. I hope you're enjoying it so far. It is a little bit different doing it solo, but I've got some things to talk about. I've still got those nutrients to show you. Actually, I'm pulling out the other people's seeds. Let's give away one of my seeds, the Twin Peaks first. So we're going to do the Twin Peaks cannabis, and this will be the last chud we are giving away. The last chud we're giving away. And this is that Westport grape juice times Afghani #1. Artman, yes. Let me pop this down here. Afghani #1 and the Westport grape juice. I've got some decent pictures of it growing up outdoors on my Instagram. John and Trippy P have done some good testing for me. I got Tie Sticks doing some good testing out there. I think Shadow Mech, I think that's what you were growing as well too, Shadow Mech. A lot of good stuff out there. And let me just bring up the giveaway tool here. And again, I apologize for being on a different screen and trying to type and talk. I feel like one of those teachers with a chalkboard, like writing and talking slow, because you can talk much faster than you can write. But I can talk much faster than I can pull up this StreamYard giveaway tool as well. Okay, so let's see. I've got it up. And we're just going to go for this. Let's see. I see somebody trying to join, but their device is not connected yet. So once you get the device connected, I will see you. You're in chat right now, though. Let's see it, guy. Okay. And this could be risky, too. I saw, unfortunately, what happened to the birthday show for Subcool. Somebody got in there with some hot porn spam. That's the risky run when you do the open phone lines. Present, share screen, giveaway tool, kaboom. There you go, guys. Okay, so in the chat, USA only. Please, US only. Right, Chud. And we'll give away these beans here real quick, and we'll do some more here shortly. Again, we've got the last one from Mr. Toad from Boneyard Seeds NorCal to give away. We're going to do that. Also going to pop up his GoFundMe for his roof. Actually, I should just pull that up in the other screen right now. Get that ready. GoFundMe. Oh, there we go. Okay. And sweet, dude. Community rocks. He's above his goal right now. And good Lord, there's some very large donors. But you know what? It's well deserved. So that's cool, man. That makes me feel good. Because brothers got to work it out, man. It's hard to not have a roof on your house, especially in the winter. So that's that. But yeah, if you are in the US and you'd like to win a pair of the Westport grape juice times Afghani #1, which is the Chud, type Chud into chat. Now, as a bonus question, I love that, Donkey Kongington. No whammies, no whammies. Press your luck. I grew up watching that show. And if you ever, there's a like documentary about the guy who like beat the system. He like broke the code. He got inside of the matrix of how that board worked and just fucking took him for everything. That's an awesome documentary. But yeah, no whammies, no whammies. JH, yeah, USA only. Apologies for that. But that's just how shipping works. So yeah, you got to avoid the Noid too. This is true. That the Noid was Domino's Pizza, Kingfisher. Yep, avoid the Noid. Yeah, Chud. Good stuff. Good time. No whammies. Oh yeah, trivia question. So I guess for a bonus pack of our new giveaway for the show. What is our new giveaway for the show? Our new giveaway for the show is going to be the Chad. And this is just something, this is all testers. This is something that I just kind of made for myself as well. Obviously, that's why it's called the Chad. But it is the Westport grape juice times the Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks is from Lucky Dog Seed Co., who's out on the East Coast. Lucky Dog Seed Co. is run by Skunk VA. Skunk VA is one of the 5-6 people who are known as holders of the chem. Basically, they've got the real stuff. They've had it the whole time, and they work with it in their line. So yeah, Lucky Dog Seed Co., Skunk VA. The Twin Peaks, it's a Chem 91 BX2, so back cross twice, times Chem Cis, which is an outcross, I believe, of the original Chem. So it's those two combined. That pack, I wanted to pop those, and I did a big seed increase because I wanted to look through the lineage there, and I wanted to try to find something that was more Chem 91 leaning. Again, going back to what I have loaded today, it's that 91 Chem because I love it. And when I was doing that pollination with the male Twin Peak plant, I actually had a couple males. I had the Westport grape juice in there as well. And so I let that pollen fly onto the Westport grape juice, and I made some beans, and these are going to be the new giveaways every episode for the Twin Peaks portion of the bean giveaways on the Best Grow Show. But we've got the final packs of chud going out, and this is what we've been giving away for the past 5 months or so on the show. The Westport grape juice times Afghani #1. It's just finally got a name because there will be 30 packs going up to the Daga.garden website this month, hopefully within another week or two. But 30 packs and then they're gone. That's all, man. I've got like 50 left for myself to go through, and that's it. That's all she wrote. So it got a name, got a sticker, got some packaging. Chud is what it is. And for the bonus question that I've been teasing, procrastinating, not getting to here. Thank you, Ty. Yeah, I just mentioned Ty is one of the people who's tested this one out, and he's tested it. He's enjoying it. I know John's trimming some of it, and Trippy P is already smoking on it. And see, Doctor, we needed you earlier because I made it 40 minutes without giving away a single bean, bro. Where were you? Like, you would have said, did I hear giveaway? In the first 10 minutes at least, which is usually when I give the first beans away. But let me, before we get to that bonus question, let's just, holy 95, 97, good Lord. Good luck, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and hit draw now. And again, if you are indeed the winner, just type, yes, I am in the U.S. in chat, and then hit me up on Instagram, get me your information, and I will get that out to you. Hank Derbs, congratulations, buddy. I like the wordplay there. So Hank Derbs, if you are in the U.S., please let me know. And my Instagram is down in the show notes. I'll just have you DM me, and we'll get that sorted. And let me write this down so I don't forget. And everybody who won on the previous show, you should have got your tracking number yesterday. Sorry, I was slow on that. Been pretty damn busy, but I got them out. Got the trackings to you, so you should have seen that. Everybody except the ranch. If you're getting beans from me, yep, there you are. And I did see somebody, by the way, pop in here. Shoot, you just jumped out. I didn't see the camera turned on, so you got to have the camera turned on before before I let you in. That is one beautiful thing about StreamYard over Zoom, is I can kind of see who's going to be jumping in, or at least whatever they want to show me at the moment. Hank Derbs, big love, man. Okay, so Hank, let me write that down. Derbs, you get the chud. Boom. Okay, and now for the bonus question for the second pack of chud. We are going to go with the trivia question. The first person in chat who can tell me what chud stands for and lives in the U.S. or has a U.S. mailing address, you will win. So, all right, tell me what chud stands for, and I will, and there might be multiple reasons, but I'm looking for one. And we already got it. Boom. Shadow Mech, congratulations, brother. Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers is a movie from 1984. It is a bad 80s horror movie. Frickin' rocks, man. Like, check it out. It's that month. It's Halloween. If you need something to watch, don't expect a frickin' fantastic plot or amazing dialogue, but enjoy chud. Irony of it is they made a part 2. And I believe the part 2 is like the bud of chud. So it worked even better. So chud, yes. All right. So I'm putting you down here, Shadow Mech, as well. You know how to hit me up. And let me know if you do, because I'm pretty sure you were growing the chud already. If you want more of it, cool. If you want to try something different, I will substitute the new giveaway here, the Chad, which was the Westport grape juice times Twin Peaks. Just let me know in the DM, brother, and I will get you sorted out. So we'll do that. It's a classic B movie. Absolutely. Classic B movie. All right. So let me, one more time, I'm going to drop the link here in the chat. If anybody wants to hop on, show their garden, and just BS a little bit with me, feel free to do that. I got one person who's still device not connected. That's been sitting in here for a while that doesn't have a name. It's just a bunch of letters, which always scares me. But we did have a name in here that I was familiar with. So if you want to try again, give that a shot, turn the camera on, and there you go. Now, you don't necessarily have to appear on camera yourself if you don't want to. That's fine. Some people live in places where it's not completely cool, and other people just don't want to do it. But we do want to see the garden, because that's the whole point of the show. You get to learn by seeing other people's stuff and how they do it. And right on, we got a guest here. And gosh, was it episode 12, episode 11? But I'd like to welcome back. Oh, heck yeah. We got people rolling in. Artman, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
Awesome, man. I'm going to let you in. Bonsai Garden Guy. Dude, it's all talk. Here's another guy. He's the best, or not the best grow show, the perfect grow show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's been a long time. It's good to see you, man.
It's good to see you, too. And let's see, we've got EdTech64. How are you, Ed? Might be muted. Might not know he's in this room. But guys, thanks for joining me.
Of course.
So, Bonsai Garden Guy, you got a freaking amazing amount of just like home veggies going. But it looks like you got a little bit of dang.
Holy shit.
Yeah. If you guys don't follow Bonsai Garden Guy on Instagram yet, please do, because you get to see look at, oh my God, just
you're gonna be busy.
Right.
Oh, I'm not even done yet. The tomatoes you saw there is actually only from 2 plants.
Oh geez.
So
what are you feeding these things?
Actually I use a local soil that we have here called Full Circle, and it's a vermicompost soil, and that's it. I've done some amending on the base soil, like our actual soil that we have here native in Nevada, with a lot of like abalone guts, a lot of ocean fish basically. And it's been amended since I was a little kid. So about 30 years worth of amending on that soil. So this is the second year that I've really tapped into it, and it has been phenomenal. We ran the purple Cherokees this year, zucchini, which was the black beauties, and then we ran 8-inch heirloom cucumbers, and then Boston pickling cucumbers as well. And it has just been a phenomenal season. So you guys are right. I'm going to be busy nonstop for the next, I don't know, probably 2 weeks. I mean, it's been this way all summer, but end of season's coming. We just basically had our first frost, so it's kind of killing everything off. I've probably got a little over 100, probably like 120 green tomatoes I got to go out there and pull, and then I'll put a little video up on my Instagram about how to finish ripening green tomatoes at the end of season and stuff. So hopefully that'll help some growers out there continue to enjoy the fruits of their labor when end of season comes. So
very cool. And you've got some of that marijuana's behind you too.
Oh yeah. This is my 3x3 tent. It's my Mars Hydro tent. It's got the FC3000 in it, and these girls have just exploded. We're only, what is today? The 14th.
Yep.
We are 24 days into flower, and as you can tell, I'm sitting down in the normal computer chair, and they're putting off a great show right now. So I'm running the Mendo Cups from Robin Hood Seeds and the Mendo Sunset. One of 3 tents I have growing right now, but This one's the most impressive. The one I'm not going to show yet. Me and you've kind of been discussing that on Instagram. So once that
Yeah.
one's ready to go, we'll reveal.
Secret.
Yes,
Yeah.
that one's very.
I'm
top
excited.
secret. I'm super excited
excited
for that one too. And best believe you're first on the list, bud. You're definitely first on the list. So,
Awesome.
but yeah, these girls are water only. I run the blue mats with the drip emitters on this, so I just fill a reservoir, good to go. I do amend with Mr. B's green. I use the 555 and the 286 for that. But other than that, they'll run straight through their entire flower cycle. I probably won't have to top dress, and they'll make it 60 days or bees. So 7-gallon pots, organic, love it. Great results every time.
Well, results speak for themselves, and those plants are looking great, man. 20 something days into flower. Yeah, they're just getting ready to make that transition from biomass growth into bud growth.
Which I'm being lazy right now. They need a little bit of a defol. I usually do that at day 21, but we had a baby shower for my sister-in-law yesterday. So
Congratulations.
thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah. And I want to welcome in too. We got some new folks joining us. Chippy, Stoned in. Actually, Bonsai Guy, if you guys can turn the phone sideways instead of vertical, and then boom, there we go. Then it gets the full screen. Much better to see you all. But I want to welcome first a new guest to the show, Stoned in 604. How you doing today?
Doing good.
Dude, thanks for joining in. What are we looking at here?
So I've got 6 little auto flowers. So we've got some sour livers, breathenberry, some Sam Squinch OG, 3 Bears OG, a El Chemi Kiwi back here hiding. What is this? So blueberry wedding cake cross. What was it? It was blueberry muffins. No, blueberry cupcakes.
Okay.
And then Colin OG.
Nice. Those are great. The sour livers caught my attention because livers, like in the UK, that's the cheese, man. The livers, the sour livers. I know some guys are like all about that.
The stinky cheese.
Yep. And are these from the same breeder, or are there multiple breeders?
So I have Mephisto in the first 4 or 6 up here, and then back here I've got this corner and this corner are Humboldt Seed Company, and this guy is a what's his name? Colin OG by Stoner Brain. I don't remember.
That's pretty cool. Those are good names. You know, Humboldt Seed Company. It's really hard to go wrong with Humboldt Seed Company. It may not be like your taste, but that taste is going to be amazing and powerful, whatever you grow from them. So they're cool. Mephisto. In the auto world, there's like 3 names that I hear constantly. Mephisto's on that list. Have they been good genetics for you in the past, or is this your first time running stuff?
My favorite is the 3 Bears OG. I've grown these 3 before. And good shit.
Nice. Looking good, man. And you know, one thing again too that we always notice about people's shows or notice on this show is, you know, things that people are doing inside the tent. And I saw a little white device hanging down there. Exactly. Do you want to tell people what that is and kind of what it does for you?
This is a little Inkbird sensor. It reads the temperature and humidity. So I also keep these guys, but you know, to not have to open the tent, it makes it much easier.
And so it's Inkbird because, you know, we hear, you know, there's a bunch of different brands out there. Inkbird's is one of them. Where do you get that information? Do you have to get online? Or
Amazon.
Do you get it on your phone or?
I bought it off Amazon. It's got an app on my phone, and I just check it on my phone.
Sweet. You're like, what's my humidity? No, I don't need to go in there right now.
Exactly.
That's badass. That's sweet. Dude, thanks for joining, and please keep hanging out here. I don't want to leave Trippy hanging. He joined at the same time, so we'll all have a group conversation. But I want to make sure I say hello to everybody first. What's good, Trippy? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, my man?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
Ag doing pretty good. I heard y'all talking about some livers, or I got a liver crossing here. Hold on, here you go. Here it is, a liver crossed with a sour liver by Mephisto.
Okay, so another Mephisto there. Livers times sour.
Yeah, that's what these are. Sour livers by BX Livers.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Then we got some monkey biz here by Full Moon Souvenirs. A pretty good looking
Monkey
plant.
Biz. Does that have any GG4 in there?
I'm not for sure what he has in this thing, to be honest with you.
Okay.
This is a guy I've been buying off for a while, but he's got some really good flowers. Hey, none of his look like mine, though. His is like underdeveloped. I've noticed a lot of breeders online are showing those stuff and not growing it out completely. Have you noticed this, Chad? When you look at pictures on Instagram, some of these breeders, their flowers aren't even grown out all the way. I mean, they still have big, long pistol hairs on them.
Right. I'm having a little bit of a hard time hearing you. I don't know if your hand's over the actual
That
speaker
better?
or the microphone section.
Yeah, I think I had it over the speaker.
Okay. You're talking about the breeders with pictures of immature buds on Instagram. And I will tell you the secret of why they do that. Because usually like around day 53, if it's like a 60-day strain, you've got great formation. It's nice and tight. A wet bud is always going to look thicker and bulkier than a dried bud. That's one reason. Makes your buds look bigger, right? Makes the buds look bigger. But it also, as the flowers dry too, the trichomes almost lose like less shininess sometimes. On the plant they look fresh, but one of the again, the main reasons they do it, I guess I'll just summarize here, is A, it's bulkier, but B, it's not the end of the run where the leaves, like the surrounding leaves, are fading, and so you get that nice gorgeous bud chat with those beautiful like green leaves, and it looks awesome. It's kind of the trick of photography, but that's why you see a lot of breeders with some like not fully matured bud shots up on their page. It looks a little bit sexier at that moment. So there's that. And I'm sorry, what was this third one you've got here?
Okay, this is the Mephisto's Wedding by Mephisto. It's actually a really pretty flower. It's got a lot of black in it. The flower top. I'm looking forward to seeing this one grown out all the way.
Yeah.
And then we got some of yours down here too. We got some, where is yours down here? Oh, there's some grape juice in here.
That's actually the first wild sighting. You're the first person to show that being grown.
Got another one right there. We have a little bit of everything. I think I got 5-6 strains in the tent now. But you're talking about those chubs. Let me show you what their buds look like.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna try to turn your mic up here.
A couple regular sized buds I'm gonna pull out of this container and just show you how big these things are. I mean, they're decent size. I just topped one of the plants and it filled up a complete big coat, and I threw the rest away. I had so much. It's ridiculous. I've never had to do that before.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm glad that you had that problem. You grew my plant too big and you had too much to trim.
Yeah, Tim's looking empty.
Let's see here.
Everything's getting harvested.
Yeah. Well, right on. We'll hop back here for a second. I want to welcome A. A. How you doing today? Oh, muted. Let's see here. You there? Hey, got some great looking plants. Can't hear you, but got some happy looking plants. Got good trellis system there, giving it a little bit of support, using some PVC in the strings. Got happy praying leaves. That's always a good sign of like good watering because the water pressure is good. You got humidity or Celsius. Okay. I'm like 26. What is 26 in there, man? Wow, that looks like a nice master brain unit too, controlling multiple units, multiple hubs, and multiple devices. Possibly those are the AC Infinity fans. Looks like the UIS controller. See, you've got kind of a similar Inkbird there in the middle, controlling humidity, or well, monitoring. Got a living soil with some cover crops, mulch. That mulch kind of helps keep the top of the soil wet. Living soil, you obviously, well, you need to keep the soil much wetter than you would other soil. And so sometimes that mulch layer, that hay on top, is kind of what helps. Got some of the usual suspects there. Got the bio egg and dropped out. Okay. Well, hopefully that was a good tour for everybody. We're back
Good.
with Art Man. Yeah. That was my impromptu. Yeah, that was awesome, Garden. Let's see here.
Running commentary. That was good.
Is that a 4x4 bed that you got going on there, or is that a 3x3?
Oh, that's about 44 by 44. It's actually made for a cable. You're talking to me, right?
Yes,
Yep.
sir, I am.
Yeah. It's a flood and drain. Got a reservoir in the other room, growing in a tray.
Yeah, I can see that hose coming in from
There,
the
there it is.
So let's break down flood and drain though, because this isn't well, it depends on your size, the professional, and the crops. But for cannabis, for home grow, it's not terribly common for flood and
No,
drain.
it isn't.
But
It's actually NASA, what I got it from. So that's my inspiration. It is. It's all the setups they have there. It's synchronized timers, one in the other room, one right here, hooked to a pump in the tray, floods it in. As soon as it's full, it turns it off and it floods it back in the other room.
Okay.
And so flood and drain, your roots are just kind of hanging down like through a net pot into a general like reservoir. So there's no like soil, there's no cocoa, there's no like medium that you're worried about.
No, there isn't. Not really. You just have a net pot.
Yep, the hydrogen balls, those clay balls.
Yeah, that's all I got. And the roots are hanging down underneath.
Yep. Wow, look at all those roots.
Oh yeah, it kicks. It does. It just supercharges them. By the time it's done, now I got 5 to 6 weeks left, so it's got a lot of time to fill in.
It's looking great though. It's looking fantastic, I gotta admit.
I'm noticing it's a thin leaf too. It's a really thin leafed variety.
Yeah, this is a Flow OG. Flow OG. It's from House of Dankness in Colorado.
Okay. So Flow being from DJ Short, OG being the OG. But yeah,
that would be. It was Flow from DJ Short, and it was oh shit, what was it? That'll come to me in a minute. Yeah, Stoner Moment. And these are my new clones. I'll have to call these because they're way too big anyway. They're about 16 inches. That is 1 month from cutting a clone.
Wow.
Right there.
And that's ready. I mean, that's in my tent, that's ready to flower.
It is. Oh, I'll have to call them. Yeah. The scheduling, I'll have to call both of these. I'll pick the best one and then take a couple clones and then move them into there. But yeah, it's this grow system is just crazy fast. So that's what I like.
Yeah, I mean, when you're growing hydroponically, DWC, flood and drain like this, that's when you get the most explosive growth. Again, because there is no like soil or medium to buffer the nutrients or to lock up the nutrients. Like you really need to be spot on with your feeding in these type of systems. Otherwise, the reactions are immediate. Again, no buffer.
Things can go wrong. Things can go wrong real fast.
Yep.
if you're not on top of it, yeah. So.
Yep. And so this is kind of a good dynamic here. This is it's like Artman's got the kind of the hydroponic going, and Bonsai Garden Guy, you've got the living soil going. Now, for people who are like adamant on either side of the fence, both of their gardens look great. Oh my gosh, it is possible to grow with a few different methods, isn't it?
Oh, I
Yeah.
love them all. I don't care. I like nutrient film technique. I like living soil. I've never done it, but I think it's
Mhm.
great. Go for it. Hell
I
yeah.
tell everybody, give everything a shot at one point or another. You never know how it's going to react with you, your thought process, what you're seeing. I ended up going with living soil because I mean I did hydroponics, but I had some good hiccups. I guess you could say I killed about 2 or 3 crops, and I couldn't get that fully under control. And the first time that I gave the living soil a shot, I started with Fox Farms, and I had some pretty good results. I had it was like a 91 OG that I was running at the time, and the terps and just how it grew. It was very beautiful. It put on a great show. It had all sorts of oranges, pinks, purples on it. And then I figured, hey, you know what? It sounds like living soil is the way for me. Only thing I had to really do was give it water and then let the soil do the work for me. So, I mean, as I said, I encourage everybody to try everything. Give everything a chance.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Only
Well,
way
the
to find
reason
what's
I'm
best for you.
well, the reason I'm doing mine is because I can't pick up pots or anything. I'm using pumps to move everything. I have a back injury, so I
all
can't really do
right.
a lot of that kind of stuff. So that's what really mainly why I went with this style.
Well, hey, it looks
And
like it's working great for you. So I say, keep going, man. Keep going.
Thank you. Hey, yours is
that,
kicking. Are you kidding? Damn, after I saw yours, it's like, oh man, there's some competition there. It's beautiful. It looks
I
great, man.
I try and give everybody as many tips as I can, and that's the thing about the community that Chad has is we're all willing to help. If you guys are
yeah,
having issues, you have questions, comments, concerns, reach out. All of us will give you our insight to what we've experienced and stuff. And as a community, that's one thing we should really do, and I encourage everybody to do is help one another. You don't need to charge anybody for anything. There's some people who do that, and I mean, I get it. Everybody needs to make ends meet, but at the end of the day, we're a community. So let's be a community. Let's help each other out.
amen,
Well
dude.
said. Well
That's
said.
that's why I love talking to you so much. These guys don't know how much we'll talk in the background, but
Yeah.
yeah, and too, and you're a great example of it because the lessons that we can learn from this plant extend into other things, or
Yeah.
vice versa. The lessons from the garden extend to this plant.
Mhm.
It's a beautiful circle that cannabis for me it helps my body too, but for a lot of people it's a great thing for your mind. And then when
Right.
you fill yourself with nourished food, you're providing for the body. So when you're happy and your mind and your body, that's a great place to be because then you really are able to help others.
Right. Right. And that's and like I said, that's what being a community is all about. Like we want to help each other, and that's at the end of the day, you just want to feel wholesome. Okay, a lot of
Yep.
people want to feel fulfilled and things like that, and I've helped a few people out, and there is no better feeling than seeing them have the results that they desire, just because you gave them 1 or 2 small tips. I mean, it's an amazing feeling. There's nothing quite like it. Being honest,
It's
nothing
cool
quite
to
like
see people succeed. Yeah, to see other
it.
people succeed. And like Artman, I'm not sure if you caught it was the couple episodes ago with Artman. He's a tremendously talented artist and painter as well, and watercolors nonetheless, which is even more impressive. But I get the same joy out of seeing that too as I do out of seeing like your guys' gardens today. I love watching anybody do something they have a passion for because
Yeah,
it shows in the end result. Like there's doing it and then there's doing it with a passion.
right, right. And if the passion's there, it'll find its way, and it'll shine super bright. I'm big on art too. My wife still paints and does that one for me. Uh,
Yeah, that's a
she's
really good
working
one
on
actually.
she's working on a couple of different ones right now. So
Cool.
hopefully I'll be able to get those posted up too. Pretty similar to that one, but it's more for our fruits and veggies on that one. So it's great to see, you know, it's like you said, people with passion, but then they also have that real spark of inspiration to really pursue that passion, you know.
Yeah, there's natural talent, and then there's people who go above and beyond too. That natural talent, it gets you so far. But I want to ask you guys here, you know, what you're excited to get into next, as far as some genetic stuff. But before I roll into that, USA only, I want to give away some more beans here, and we are going to go with something that's pretty freaking fabulous. Again, some of these, I'm just like, damn. So this is from Rebel Grown. You got 12 seeds in here. It is the 5G's Purple, which mixes the F13, the SD, which I could assume is sour diesel, OG Chem, C99, which is a Cinderella 99 F4. So 5G's Purple. If you are in the US and would like a chance to grow some of these Rebel Grown genetics, all you got to do is type Rebel Grown into the chat, and we will BS for the next couple of moments here about what we want to grow next. So let's start with you, Artman. What's coming up? Are you going to keep cloning what you're currently doing, or are you popping anything new?
Well, I will be keep Flow OG. I do like that. By the way, the other cross was #1 of Dankness in the House of Dankness. So that was
Okay.
pretty easy. I just spaced it out. But I just happened to get a package from Monkey Dude today. Nakatomi Plaza crossed with Pineapple Chunk.
You know what? I don't even have that yet, and I have seen that grown out. Somebody on the Percy's Grow Room forum posted a picture of their Nakatomi Plaza times Pineapple Chunk, and I'm like, damn!
Fantastic. Yeah, I was looking at that. I just got that today. I got a couple others though. I've got a little seed collection going, and I do need a CBD one again, so I'll do one of those. But that looks pretty good.
Cool. Well, that's good on. Yeah, I need to reach out to Monkey Dude because there's also a strawberry cough to the Nakatomi Plaza out there. Yeah, I'm like, ooh, really? I want to try that. Can I try that, please? Monkey Do, again, if you're not familiar with Monkey Do, he's been a guest with me on the Future Cannabis Project. He's also on the High on Homegrown show every Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening if you're in the UK, where it's based. But I do see a lot of chatters here that are also chatting over there. But yeah, Monkey Do, awesome person to talk grow with. And he's actually made some really cool. Do I still have one? Made some really cool
monkey pipe. A monkey pipe.
Monkey pipe time.
I wood burned one of those and sent them to another guy. I wood burned it with a bunch of mushrooms on it. It was really cool.
So cool. And again, this is all just one solid piece of wood. I wish you guys could see details of the grain better. But cool story too, because he takes a lot of these limbs that have like fallen down in storms, and then he repurposes them, turns them into like this is like a collector's pipe. Like I don't really ever want to smoke out of it just because it's so nice. I enjoy woodworking, but yeah, just like the way that the grain works, the way that he shaped it, like, yeah, Monkey Pipe, Monkey Do. He makes some awesome pipes. So I keep that right here next to a few of my other stuff. But
yeah, that looks polished and amazing. It takes a lot to do that with wood. It really does.
Yeah.
I'd have a hard time smoking out of that too.
It's, again, somebody who loves what they do. Passion for what they do. Like he could have probably just like knocked that out in 30 minutes and called it good, but I'm imagining that he spent hours on it, getting it that finely sanded, as you said, getting the lacquer on it that well, getting again the shape, working with the piece of wood that he had. So yeah, I don't think that was a quick one for him.
No, not at all. That's a lot of work.
Yep. Let's see here. How many people we've got? We got 69 in there, and y'all know that's my magic number. So, all right. Good luck, everybody. We will grow or get these going. Again, the Rebel Grown pack USA only. Who's it going to? Levels Grow Room. I know you're in the chat right now. Congratulations. Hit me up on the Instagram. Writing it down here. Levels Grow Room, who also has his show on Thursday evenings. I believe it's 6 p.m. PST. It's probably 9 o'clock. You correct me if I'm wrong there, Levels. But he's got a show going every Thursday, which you guys can check out and share your gardens as well. Rebel Grown. Let me write that down. Boom. Okay. You are good. So, stop sharing the screen. All right, Bonsai Garden Guy, what are you doing next? You going to keep cloning, or is there anything you want to pop?
I do actually have some clones already going of these. I want to hold on to the genetics, but I'm actually going to be working on what I have going on in the other tent. Since it's the first round for that, I'm trying to take it down the chain right now. I want to get it down to at least F3 before I really do a big reveal on it, but I will be working with that up and coming genetic. Of course, I'll probably have like my little 2x2 going with like a single individual plant. This looks like it's going to be a pretty big yield. So, but I really want to, I really want to get that genetic up and going because it's one of my first that I've been working on, but I have a lot of good guidance from you and a couple of others to really make it successful. And I'm hoping that it'll come out the right way because well, may as well tell everybody I've been working on a genetic with the Nakatomi Plaza and the Mendo Sunset. It's going to be called Nakatomi Sunset. Yes. And right now I've actually got 2 males from the Nakatomi that I chose. One's a shorter and stout, and then I have one that's a taller one. And I'm kind of really hoping that the taller one I can turn into more of like a greenhouse outdoor genetic. And then the shorter stout one's going to be for some of the folks that are space restricted. We're looking for that good tight internodal spacing. The aromas are freaking amazing from those males, by the way. Nice. I was like, oh man, I think there was one show you were describing. It just smells like you're opening a fresh bag. Yeah. Fresh bag. And I was like, man, this is pungent. I like this. So I'm hoping that we can get the results that we're looking for on that. The short and stout one is the one that I'm really excited to see. And I'm hoping that the Mendo Sunset female helps kick in her terp profile because the blend that's going to come from that is going to be phenomenal. Just based off of what I'm smelling actually going on inside that tent right now. So it's like the males coming in, the females starting to, really put out that good aroma. And I'm like, ooh, that's kind of a nice, sweet, skanky smell that I don't know. That's the only way that I really know how to describe it. But it's a huge project. But yeah, like I said, we want to take that down to about F3, F4. I do have cuts of the mother and I have cuts of the fathers as well. That way, when we get it down there, we're going to go ahead and back cross, try and get that stability in there. And hopefully have something for everybody to really enjoy.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm stoked. And I want to welcome a couple new people into the show here. But yeah, no, thanks for revealing that. And dude, I'm really stoked about that because the profiles from both of those plants, if they could pair, I'm excited. So welcome in, EdTech64. How you doing today?
Hey, buddy, how you doing, man?
I'm good.
Hey, I got to start off by saying you're a really good teacher, man, because I'm a hard person to teach, and I've learned an awful lot from you.
Well, thank you, man. And that's a two-way street there. That's a two-way street. But I appreciate it.
And back here, I got something finishing up that I followed your wording step by step. And nice. This will give you an idea of what your tutelage has accomplished for me.
Excellent.
Yeah, good.
Looking real good.
Hit myself out of there. Sorry, I got excited. I was trying to hit the button to
Yeah,
blow the
they're
screen
coming
up, and I
along quite
knocked
well,
myself
man.
out.
They're coming along quite well.
Turn it
They are.
sideways, dude. Turn your camera sideways.
Your phone. There we
There
go.
you
Oh
go.
yeah, now we see it.
Give us a good
Yeah.
view. Oh man, nice.
Oh, yeah.
That it's beautiful colors, beautiful leaves, and it's like even though it's not the like crispest picture in the world, I can see the trichomes, man. Like that's gonna be a tasty treat. Ooh yeah.
Oh, that looks real good.
See, that's got some like nice and sexy thin leaves on it as well, kind of like Artman had there in his scrog. Wow. Yep.
Looking
And
good.
I missed the strain name on that. Which did that have a name?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't know what that is, dude. Because
that's fine.
Mystery. Who cares?
But yeah, man. Like I was saying, I really appreciate your help and everything, man. But yeah, man. You've really brought a lot of joy to my life with this cannabis growing, man. And I'm an old head like you are, dude. You know, I grew up, you know, being paranoid every day, all day. And now, you know, being in Maryland, it's recreational. So hey, why not, right?
Yep. Yeah, well, big respect to you for that, Ed, because
I must be breaking up.
you're doing it. Oh,
yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm. There you go. I got a better connection up here.
Okay. I just wanted to say, you know, respect too. You know, you're doing it out there and you're doing it well, and it looks like you're going to have a nice harvest and be able to provide yourself with your own medicine, your own smoke.
Yeah.
Which is the whole point.
I'm doing it, man.
Yeah. Good deal. Thank you for showing us.
But the one thing I noticed is you never can know enough.
No,
that's the one thing I like, you know. And I learned that by, you know, really spending some time, you know, blending with the DGC and those guys over there. Because Scotty is all over the place. So he gets your interest pulled in because you never know where he's going.
Yeah.
But I love that.
So,
you know?
so what is...
what's that?
I was going to say, so what is maybe one thing that you've learned or something that's really helped you over this last year that you can maybe share with other people? Like, because again, we all love learning from each other's experiences. So maybe what's one experience you could share with somebody?
I think the most critical element that I learned to focus on was essentially microbes. The benefit that microbes serve to the soil is irreplaceable. There is nothing that can break stuff down proportionally and give it to your plant the way microbes do. And like you see, everything I grow is in 5-gallon buckets, no synthetics whatsoever. I don't use like grow dots or any of that stuff. I just kind of use like vegetable compost, man. And I got to admit, I do use Recharge because I've tried different products, but I seem to come back to that because it may sound cocky, but when the guy says, hey, man, in 2 days, you're going to see a difference. You definitely see a difference. But my biggest thing is microbes. If I did not invest time to learn and listen to you guys and what you were saying about, you know, the life cycle of soil, not the life cycle of the plant, but the life cycle of the soil. Because if you don't get that right, nothing else is going to turn out correctly.
Yeah, it's so important for those roots to be in a good, healthy soil. And that's a great piece of advice. Microbes, like, so important and underrated, I think.
Yeah, and all I grow is autoflowers, dude. Those I'm 5'1", and two of those are tall as I am. I don't know what happened, but I love them anyway. But the thing is, man, I think autoflowers also get a very bad rap simply because they need to be babysit really carefully for the first 2.5 weeks, with the
Mm-hmm.
overwatering thing.
Yeah.
But I think that gives them a bad rap because once you pass that plateau, it's easy sailing, you know?
Yeah,
It is.
starting off is the main thing. Starting off autos.
Yeah, when your baby's full, you can't force no more food in there, man. It just goes spit up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the autos can get pissed off. You're absolutely right. The first like 3-4 weeks are so important for the final yield of
Right.
an auto.
Oh, while you're here, I do have a question because I actually wrote to you about it because I'm baffled. Um, the light cycle for autos, I run 18.6. Now, here's where I'm confused. I was running 340 watts,
Okay.
and at 18 inches away, and the tent being relatively, let's see, 72 degrees, humidity, I think it was like 51. I'm getting light burn. So I'm like, well, I don't understand this. Now, the prior grow, I was having that issue, and I literally cut the lights back, cut them down to 200 watts in a 4x4, and cut
Okay.
the hours down to 16 hours a day.
Yep.
And they recovered and did phenomenal.
Okay.
So I can't seem to find accurate information on this lighting issue specifically with autos because you're going to get a different, daily light interval simply because of how long it's on.
That
And
is, yep.
is it that some plants are just extremely sensitive to longer light when they're in flower?
That is a possibility. That is
Okay.
definitely a possibility. But as with most plants, like towards the end of flower with these, I'll actually reduce my light down to like 11 hours on, 13 hours off. You want to think of it kind of like seasons, for example. So if you've grown outdoors, you know that it's like um, usually like the second week of August and when they kind of start
Right.
flower. And then as the months progress, your light reduces. So they're not getting that DLI that they were initially getting in the summertime and stuff like that. You've also got to take into consideration your PAR, what's going on at the top of your canopy. I'm not sure if you have a PAR meter. You don't necessarily have to go out and buy a $500 one or anything like that. There are some like mine. It was like $20. I have to do a small calculation, but I can find
Okay.
out what PAR is going on. You want to keep a sharp eye on that PAR. If you've got too much PAR for the timing that you're in for your plants, you will encounter burn. It's kind of one of those tough things. So also your DLI, the very big important thing. You already touched base on that as well. So
Right.
Yeah. And
Well, that's where I
here.
was confused because I'm kind of scientific in the mind, so I kind of like really like to schedule and figure things out really detailed. Therefore, if you're keeping accurate records, you still get a little confused. Everything will be on, but yet and still, the light just seems to be, a little intense. But I don't know. But I understand where you're coming from about the seasonal change.
I know Chad had a
Yeah.
great article.
Yeah, you hit a lot of the really important points, both of you. DLI is one of the biggest factors there. And so there were two immediate questions. One is DLI, which you nailed, but two, and this is always the place where I like to start, is you say you see signs of light burn. What specifically made you say, "Oh, light burn"? Was it like a bleaching? Was it a tacoing of the leaves? Was it what specific sign made you like, I think it's light burn?
At first, I thought it could have been windburn.
Okay.
And I started adjusting and monitoring over a couple grows. So then I kind of said, no, it's not wind. Then I thought maybe it's a nutrient thing, but I'm so picky with the nutrient thing. I never really ran into any kind of major, defects in the plant at all due to nutrition. But I did notice if I were to just move a light down 2 inches within 5-6 hours, you're going to see curling.
Okay.
Even some of
Yep.
them upward curl. And it's
Okay.
almost like, hey, it's I need some
Yep.
sunglasses. Yeah.
Yep. And
But I
that's
mean, I'll move it 4 inches up, and that doesn't negate what's already damaged.
right.
But I'll notice that the damage won't increase because I learned from prior experiences, if you don't take care of it, yeah, it's going to increase at a rapid rate as it starts working its way down.
And so that is a good job. Like that is spot on to what I would suggest. And the observations that you made confirm that it is something to do with the placement of the light. Again, you go down that close and you see that immediate effect. Usually the curling least, it may be like too much heat from the light. But then again, you raise it from where it is and everything looks good. So yeah, your observations and your process of elimination, spot on there. So we know that we're dealing with that.
Right.
When it comes down to it, the DLI is going to be a little bit less when it's a little bit higher because the flowering plants, it's, we always think of, we're giving it like 18.6 throughout veg, and some people will turn their lights on 100%, and I guess it depends on the wattage, but they'll just crank it during veg, and then they get to flower, and you take that same amount of light, and now the plant gets less every day. So it's actually kind of like almost working in reverse with the power of the light. That's why I always kind of like to ramp up and then save when I flip the 1212, that 100% power. So the DLI isn't going from like a ton to less, because you always want it the other way around.
That actually makes really good sense. That makes good sense.
Vegging plants will need less, less light, less intensity, less DLI. I also, because I'm in a like tent home unit, and I have 2 months until my flowering tent is ready, that also benefits me too by keeping a lower light level. It's not as vigorous in growth, but it's also not detrimental to where it's slowing the growth too much. But that is something for you to play around with, because yeah, you're absolutely spot on with the cause, and that being your light height. And then here's actually an article, The Best Light Schedule for Autoflowers, written by some dude named Chad Westport, on the website. But this was a good article that I did. Well, I say it's a good article, God. It's an article that I did. It is a good article, but you don't really say that. It's like you don't give yourself a nickname. But it's an article I wrote a few months ago, but it kind of covers the plus and minuses of the different kind of common lighting schedules, some of the colors, and then just the FAQs. But like some of the pros and the cons, again, it's like power bills, the 18.6 may not be enough light, 12.12, and it just gives some different things. So that might be something too, just to kind of look at. I think you're already on the right page, but this is something that can help you, or other people too. That's why I brought it up, watching, just kind of understand maybe a little bit more about autoflowers and the lighting schedule, because particularly in the European markets, where ILGM is pretty dominant, they a lot of hours there. So here's kind of my wind up recommendations there. So like flowering plants produce best 40 to 50 DLI, 25% fewer for the vegetative stage. So yeah, it's a chart. That's something to look at. And then two, sorry if you are in the Instagram messages right now. I've been trying to clean those out at least a couple times a week.
Oh, Chad, come on, man.
So I apologize.
Life is busy, dude. I understand. It's very busy. But Thanks, man. I'm gonna go look at that chart in that article. You know, it was just I was scratching my head because when you look at enough information, you run across guys like Cortez, for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you look at his work, man, and you're just salivating. You're going, I want to get to that level. But then you listen to him, and he's like, oh yeah, man, I turned those boys up, and he's running 650s, and you're like, wait a minute, how come his don't cook? Yeah,
Right.
but still learning, man. Keep learning. That's all.
Ed,
Yeah, and there will always be. Go ahead.
What's that?
I have a question for you.
Surely.
So when you're, when it starts burning and everything like that, are you seeing any difference in your atmospherics? So like your humidity, for example. So are you cranking it up when you're later on in flower and then
No,
getting the burn?
no, no,
Okay.
no. My grow is in an area where I have really stable control
Okay.
over temperature and humidity. It does not sway that much. Well, let me put it to you this way. From June through August, it can get stupid hot,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't do hardly any growing, during the summer.
Okay.
But no, the most of those points usually stay locked in pretty good. Most of my way after when I get into veg,
Mm-hmm.
my pH stays between 74 and 68.
Okay.
As I get 4 weeks in on the outer flower and they start coming up on my 5th week, I usually lower my humidity down to around 54 and try to keep it from around 54 to 60. And I try not to go above that. And it rides out. The only thing that I'll change at that point would be the temperature. I'll bring it down to the 70s and keep it hovering around the 70s during the day.
Okay.
And it usually drops down to about 64 to 66 at night.
Okay. So your VPD is it's not like you're pushing the plants at all. It sounds like
No, 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 no.
point eight to about 1.0 in that range, especially for flower. That was just one thing I was curious about because sometimes if our humidity drops down and your light intensity stays the same, it can cause the same effects as well. So it's also one thing to kind of keep an eye out for.
You get
Oh,
the
yeah,
you're
yeah.
thinking about the tacoing, kind of the tacoing the leaf because it's trying to
Right.
rapidly transpire as fast as it can. So sometimes that'll raise the upper edge of those leaves there.
Hey,
Good
trust me,
thinking
guys.
there.
Trust me, guys. The reason I keep my humidity and temperature dialed in so tight is because I've been growing long enough to experience what happens when you don't keep these things in line. So now,
Mhm.
I don't like the headaches, man. If you keep it dialed in, if something pops up, it's something you can like deal with, like a bunch of fungus gnats or something. But so far as with the plant, I generally don't have that many problems. I mean, I've had genetic issues, but I did do something this time is I did top 2 autoflowers and they came out marvelous. Didn't stunt at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
How
watched the
old were
guy
they?
who showed how to just take his finger and roll out the head instead of like cutting it.
Right. Just kind of
Yeah,
twisting,
he just
pinching
rolled it in his
with your
finger and it
fingers.
rolled right
Pinch.
out. And
Mm-hmm.
it really didn't have any effect on the plant. It didn't seem to slow down or bat an eye. But I won't regularly do that. I was just curious.
Right. Well, that's what you got to do. You got to experiment some. And how old were they when you did that? A couple weeks, 3 weeks.
About 3.5 weeks, about 4 nodes.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect timing.
Yeah,
Perfect timing.
yeah. If you all you grow is autoflowers, you get to know them pretty well, because
Mm-hmm.
you can't make a mistake. That's you lost the race, man.
Right.
Yeah. And I saw real quick a question kind of related, unrelated in the chat. People were talking about spectrums and stuff. And not sure, it says the LEDs different spectrum emitting when lesser or more wattage. And that's a great question because here is a difference between the old HID systems, ceramic metal halides, high pressure sodium, metal halides.
Yes.
Those have dimmers, but when you dim a HID system, it reduces the amount of electricity that creates that arc, and so it changes the spectrum. So dimmers on HID systems are not really good. They shouldn't have even been put there. It wasn't put there for the plant's benefit. It was put there to keep heat down.
Right.
So it does change your spectrum when you're doing it on HID systems. LEDs, not a single difference. It will remain the same whether it's 1%, 20, 30, 50, 70, 90, 100%. And that is a beauty of LEDs. So yeah, LED remains the same spectrum no matter how much you dim it versus the HID system, which would make a difference and actually affect your plant in the end. So
Hey,
wanted to answer that
one
real
more
quick.
thing before I go, Chad.
Sure.
You can send me this like offline, but let me know what you think about LED lights.
Okay.
Okay, because I'm curious to know what you think about the ones that I have, and could it be something in these particular LEDs that are causing that burning issue?
Some,
That
yeah,
the
and
models or something.
yeah, and we'll get into that because I'll want to know a little bit more about the specific product. But they have different lenses and they have different angles. Sometimes you'll see that's kind of one of the things that's being marketed now is just the angle of the lens,
Right, right.
the degrees. I'm trying to think of the proper name for it, but the radius or something that it covers. So yeah, please do hit me up. And again, I'm going to try to get through all the Instagram stuff here in the next couple of days again, and I'll send that link to the article I wrote.
Sure enough, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude,
Well,
my
man,
pleasure.
you know what? I'm gonna let you get going, and thanks for the time, thanks for the knowledge, and I'll keep watching, buddy.
Dude, hats off. Thank you for growing. Thank you for being part of the community.
That Westport, man.
Yeah, Westport.
There
Westport.
you go. All right, good night, guys.
Have a good night.
Later.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I'd love to see people joining in here. Oh, see, Holla Flux Capacitor. That's actually, I named the stream for B-Leaf Cannabis called Flux Capacitor. So I was like,
So Chad,
Flux Capacitor is a good name. What you got there, Art Man?
this is a pollen sac. I got it. I asked the American one about them, and yeah, I'm going to cross 9-pound hammer with my Flow OG. So we'll see how it comes or how it goes. That'll be my first cross, by the way. So
Nice. 9-pound
Chad's
hammer.
Yeah, he's got a ton of knowledge on, breeding genetics and stuff. And he's part of the reason that I actually started doing what I'm doing. So, I mean, I'm sure Chad wouldn't be opposed to kind of giving you some tips and pointers about doing some crossing.
well, I'd sure take them.
Heck yeah, I'm here to answer any questions I can with that stuff. I want to see people, breeding with intent, and I want to see people making more options in a good direction. So yeah, always here for that. And I'll tell you too if I'm like, you're kind of bottlenecking stuff with that cross there. Like you might run into some stuff, but then again, you just got to try it and do it too. But I'm always here to help with that. And speaking of beans, because we're almost at the 2-hour mark, we got to do one more giveaway before we go. So let's do the last and final pack here of the Boneyard seeds from Mr. Toad. The final pack of the lot that we have here is the Ghost of Mary Jane. So the Ghost OG times the Space Cheese Boneyard.
Sweet.
Cow. So, and two, I had mentioned earlier that we are, people are doing a fundraiser for Mr. Toad because the damn roof fell in, and he needs to get a roof on before the winter season happens. And so if you guys want to help him out, if you ever maybe won a pack of his seeds, grew a pack of his seeds, like the work he does, hey man, $5, $10, anything goes to help. I'm not one to tell you how to spend your money, so I'm not going to tell you need to. I'm not going to pull a guilt trip. If you want to, if you can, the link is in chat. So that's for Mr. Toad. Let me hop over into our StreamYard giveaway tool. And let's see here. I need to enter something new. So let me do that. Let's see here. A roof. Okay, so if you are in the US and you would like to win a pack of The Ghost of Mary Jane, short-term memory issue right there, maybe a little bit. Yep, so The Ghost of Mary Jane, we've got the roof. I love everybody's guessing in chat already. A roof? 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 Uncle Rick, you're not helping. No, this is USA only, please. USA only. Uncle Rick, God, man. Come on.
Is Uncle Rick causing trouble again? Come on, man.
Uncle Rick is causing trouble. He's saying this is Australian only. No, it's USA only. Rick. Yay. That guy, I tell you, he's a troublemaker. You gotta watch him. So,
did you see the painting I gave him? Did you see the painting I gave him?
Which one did you do for him?
I sent him a little painting of his fish, the goldfish, smoking a doobie in his pond. He's had so much trouble with his fish.
Dude, he's a fish murderer. I'm just gonna straight up say Uncle Rick is a fish murderer. I have called PETA on that man like 27 times. He mistreats those fish so bad. One year for winter, he took them out of their little pond, which I'm amazed that he even gives them a pond. Of course, there's no filter and it's scummy and there's, predators around. He put them in a freaking trash can for the winter. Filled it with water, just put them in a trash can. Yeah, Rick, PETA is on the way, bro. Like those poor little goldfish. I'm glad you got to immortalize him, though, Art Man, because it may be the last time we ever see him. Yeah, maybe the last time we ever see him.
He's smoking a big doob, so I figured he needed something to deal with the pain.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious! Like I need to find that picture. I need to see that picture, and I need to turn it into a T-shirt. And anytime I come on to his show, I'm just gonna wear that. Next time, he'll probably never invite me back on the Let's Be Bud show, but I would wear it. I would definitely wear it. So yeah, just put that up there again. Put the link in chat one more time there. And again, just type the roof to win this pack of the Boneyard Seeds. The last one from Boneyard Seeds NorCal we have for this show. We may restock. You never know. But don't worry, guys, because we still got a bag full of plenty of other genetics to give away, including some of the Twin Peaks stuff from myself. So, yes, let me put this back up. And while we're doing that, while we're giving this last pack away, everybody that joins today on screen, thank you so much for showing and sharing your gardens and just like hopping in and would have loved to have a conversation, but I appreciate it. So thank you very much. And we've got our two remaining guests here, both returning guests because they're heck of a guys. I want to give you guys an opportunity just to do any shout outs or anything you'd like to do here as kind of a final words or closing. So how about you, Mr. Bonsai Garden Guy?
Well, I've always got to give you a shout out. I mean, come on, man. always got to give Chad a shout out. I was able to do a podcast with him about a year ago with another friend of ours, Mad Hatter Organics, Jeff. He's up there in Canada. Really, really great guy. The biggest thing that I can tell everybody to walk away with, and I don't know, it's been a kind of a constant notion that we've been saying, is always continually be learning. Okay, always be trying things. You never know what's really going to work out for you. And don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out. I know there are some influencers that don't respond back, and I get that. I do. But there are a lot of us out here that are more than happy to help. Don't be afraid to try and pick our brains. So you can catch me over on Instagram, just names exactly the same and stuff like that. My YouTube I've kind of slowed down on. We had twins last year, so it's made it kind of difficult to do some filming. But I'm going to get back on that. Feel free to reach out. I am more than happy to answer any questions, or if you see something in my garden that you're kind of concerned about, hey, I'll always listen. I'll always listen. It's just you guys trying to reach out and help me. So I can't complain about that.
Yep, no, and plenty of tips on the counter curing your tomatoes. We're doing some of that here ourselves this year.
Mm-hmm.
We had a pumpkin patch, and we had a couple rats come for the pumpkins, and we took some of our tomatoes down because they were green, but we're like, we don't want them to get there. Within a couple of days, the entire plant was gone. We're like, my wife actually is like, "What'd you do with the tomato plant?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing." And I looked outside, the entire thing from the base of the soil is gone. It was like at least 3 feet tall, not a branch, not a leaf, not a stem, nothing around. Whatever it was, just took it. And so,
oh man.
So we had the green tomatoes on the counter, and now they're actually starting to get their color. So I'm doing what you're doing this year.
Stem side down.
That's stem side down. All right.
Stem side down, because they ripen from the bottom up. You want to make sure that after they're off the plant, flip them upside down, and they'll continue that ripening route. If you leave them on the bottom, your bottom will get mushy before the top can get its color.
Wow. I'm writing that down now, and I'm going to go check. My wife is the post-harvest genius here, but I will go take a look at that stem down. And it makes sense how you just described it too. So, oh yeah, little garden lesson there for everybody. And let's see, how about you, Art Man? You have any that you'd like to let people find you, or shout outs that you'd like to do?
I'm on the Sundays and Confused show. I'll be there tomorrow. That's 12 Eastern. Usually hanging out there on
Days
the
and
panel.
Confused.
Yeah. Sundays and Confused, the Smart Poker channel.
Sundays and Confused. That's right. Smart Poker and Crispy Wannabe.
Wannabe, that's it. And I'd like to close with something I read a while back. It was, this, my friend, is the greatest challenge of being alive. To witness the injustice of this world and not allow it to consume our life.
Perfect.
I like it.
Nowadays.
So short and sweet. Let's do it one more time there. One more time, because I thought that was great.
What's you want me to say it again?
Yep.
Oh, okay. This, my friend, is the greatest challenge of being alive. To witness the injustice of this world and not allow it to consume our life.
Thank you. Totally true, man. We need a shield as we help, as we do the things we can, accept the things we can change and those that we can't. And the fact we know how to hide a body. No. Nobody said that. Right on. Thank you so much for saying that. And everybody watching, let's do this final giveaway here. Let's give away these beans from Mr. Toad. Good luck, everybody. I'm going to hit the button, 86 of you. And again, we hope that you are in the U.S., and we will get those shipped out to you. Congratulations, old-fashioned coffee pot. And that's like a rainbow. It's just like pouring out of his homers. That's awesome. I like it. Old-fashioned coffee pot. Congrats. And you just entered like last minute, too. Look at that. Wow. Good job, buddy. And then just let me know that you are in the U.S. My Instagram is down in the chat. hit that. And I'm just writing this down. Hit that, DM me, and we will get you sorted out. Coffee pot, and this was for the boneyards. Booyah! And I'll get these shipped faster than last week's, which are already out. You know, I'm doing good if they're out by the time I do the next show, right?
Yeah.
I've got them out, so it works. But congratulations, guys. And again, Bonsai Garden Guy, Artman, thank you so much for joining me today. And everybody else that joined us, I appreciate it. Everybody in chat, you guys rock. Always do. Always do. And I appreciate that. That's what made me, jump on here solo today. I knew I was going to be in good company, and who knew everybody was going to show up. So thanks again for that. I appreciate that. And until the next time, in another 2 weeks, we will be back. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, just hit me up. And remember to party on, guys.
Party on, Chad.
Yeah.
Later.
Westport.